Hey, how's it going? I got something that I wanted you to hear for Jeremy to play. And Jen, thanks for pointing out the heels, because I went a little lower and I'm still struggling. And so I'm going to take them off. Because when I work, that's how I work. And so the clients make fun of me because when I kick off my shoes, they say, oh shit. Because it means I'm coming. I'm coming for you. So song good, song bad, can we get it? It's kind of important to me to play this. And you won't know why, except if you're Latina. Woo. So I want you to get up and wiggle out your wiggles. Just shake, I don't care. Work it out, work it out, work it out. If you can twerk, and I'm good with it. Twerk it out, baby. Tap dance, whatever you got. This is my jam. Okay, one line. I want you to hear this. My Latin people. La tierra te duele. La tierra te da. En medio del alma. Cuando tú no estás. La tierra te empuja. De raíz y tal. La tierra suspira. Si no ve más. We're good. And I feel good. So when I didn't have money to go to the gym, and I lived in a 300 square foot studio where my husband met me, and one day he came knocking on the door and he's like, what are you doing? And I would have the speakers blasting and I'd be working out, and my workout was dancing. And mi tierra means my land, my country. To me it means my heart. My parents are and were Cuban. And so I come from a very proud, very small little country where I was birthed here, but they birthed me. They birthed my heart. They birthed my soul. They birthed my spirit. They birthed the divine feminine and masculine in me that have been tangoing my whole life. And so I have words. I have so many words. I'm never at a loss for words. I want to share so much. I've already cried this morning, and I imagine I will again. And I downloaded something yesterday, and I never write or read off a script, but I have to, because I asked, what was divine feminine for me? What did that embody? What did that mean? What did that feel to me and say about me and say about you? And the first thing I felt was my womb. And I sat in that and felt the depth and magic and power of the womb, where we all come from. So we're all divinely feminine. And so I want to share this. I think it's a poem now, but it starts off Emergence. I'm my mother's daughter. I'm the connection of the womb and the need to be held and loved and treasured. I'm the need for safety and belonging, to know that I'm loved beyond all reason. I am my mother's daughter in the failing to express who I am, what I want and need, to belittle myself, to give away my power, to forget what my purpose is and only fulfill yours. I am, as you are, your mother's daughter, in trying to find the love that you never got, or to expect the world to love you as she did, and always having that fall short. I am my mother's daughter, that I will fiercely annihilate you if you come after my kids and my hubby, or one of my own. But to forget that way for me, and in the fight for others, I will acknowledge the part of me too that I know needs you to fight for me, to see me as worthy and deserving, just like you. And in letting you know you matter, you reflect that back to me. I will, as my mother's daughter, experience the degradation of being hypersexualized and seen as in the toxic possession rather than an asset. I will feel the negative stain of the toxic masculinity, wanting to own and possess my body, mind, and spirit, dictating who I am, how to be, how to behave, how to look, and ultimately take dominion over my body, telling me, you have the right to tell me what to do with it. I equally see the souls of the lost masculine crying out for the embrace of their mother's arms and the safety of the womb, where they felt vulnerable and able to fully express their sorrows with veneration, not being chastised for being too feminine or less masculine, for the ways in which you were violated when your emotional expression was diminished, to only being able to publicly express bravado, contempt, domination, subjugation, anger, or humor, where you seek to be seen in all of your full expression, and your own bodies and minds that are often called too soft, too hard, too weak. We are the children of the divine feminine mother, seeking the ultimate embrace to be fully held and acknowledged as the wondrous, miraculous beings that we are inherently. We are the wreckage of our past and shedding the skins of our ancestors and theirs and revealing a more pure version of our ultimate humanity. We are seeking higher ground and higher purpose, knowing the direction we've been isn't where we're heading. And where we are heading can be incredibly frightening at times. We must rise and know our inherent power to give life is expressed in all the things we breathe life into. And it is time that we all breathe, breathe, breathe. I'm my mother's daughter. Clap, go for it. They're like, I'm my mother's daughter in that having to marry what I thought was feminine with what I wanted and needed that looked so very different from her, and not understanding that when I stepped into my power, that didn't mean that I was a controlling bitch. It meant that I had words and I had things to do and to be seen and to get done. And when you taught me to be small, you diminished everything that I am as a human, not just as a woman. And so I wanted to have that understanding and respect and love. So I sought it from my father. And my father was so powerful in my home. He was the king. And he was served, and everyone served him. And I refused. I obeyed my mother, and I denied my father over and over again. I would challenge him, and he loved it. And he would say to me, don't do it like me. Gina, listen, if you're going to get anywhere in life, look at me. I don't know what I'm doing. You got to figure it out, kid, okay? You want to do it, go for it. I'm so confused. He's at home, and he's his presence, and he's loud. And my mother submits to him over and over and over again like his minion. And I'm angry at her for doing that and for making me think that's the only way to be a woman. But then I'm hearing him cheerleading me into life going, you want to be the president, baby, you go for it. You're going to be the first president ever. I'm like, wow. Which side of the line do I go? I'm now borderline. Feel like I'm going to lose my mind. I'm like, oh my God, what? How do I do these? How do I balance these two humans in me? Because we are the baby ducklings that follow the mama and the papa down into the swamps or into the beautiful, pristine lake. Wherever they go, we follow. And we don't want to mimic, and we don't want to be them. And yet we are. Yet we become. Because inherently we do what we see, not what we're told. So if you're parenting, and I'm still parenting, I thought it was a job that ended like between 18 to 22. And if somebody told me, I might not have signed up for it. I was like, oh my God, it keeps going. But we follow them because they are the first objects of love that we receive. And so the messages I receive from my mother says, whatever I'm doing, just follow your dad. But my dad didn't always go in a direction that I wanted. He was angry at times, he was dismissive, he was judgmental, he was brutish, and he could be cruel. Why am I supposed to emulate that? But what I watched was my mother allow and support and honor whatever he presented was okay. And it infuriated me. So then I felt I didn't have a model for the divine feminine because the divine feminine told me to shackle myself, to stay low and to hide. So you won't really know who I am, but you'll feel better about yourself because I'll be serving you, and I don't care if you were male or female. By teaching me that, I did it with all the sexes. There was no discriminating for me. So I allowed women to abuse me and men to abuse me because my mother didn't mean to teach me what she didn't know. That she had a right to her voice and her power. That the way that she loved was so deep that I couldn't even grasp. Until she took her last breath in front of me did I know the depths of how my mother loved me. And I searched for that my whole life, and I wanted the validation of that love because the only time I could remember having it was in that womb. My womb story, if you don't know your womb story, it's powerful. My womb story was I fought to not get out of the womb. Apparently I did not want to be here. So my little foot got tangled up in the umbilical cord. And this is 1963, y'all. Now you know how old I am. Do the math. I'm a child of the 60s, yeah. No, I am a little bit. I'm a dressed up hippie. So I'm in the womb, and I went back and I did a hypnotherapy regression, and I felt this. And I had this vivid memory. For years, I had claustrophobia, and I did not understand it came from the womb. Because I needed to get out, but I couldn't, and so I couldn't breathe. So what would happen is they would pull me out, and then bing, I'd go back in. And then they'd pull me out, and I'd go back in. So I was bungee cording the whole time. And I hate bungee cords. I would never do that in my life because apparently I did it the first time and it sucked for me, so I don't want to do it again. So as I'm being pulled in and out, think about that. The universal decision. You know, one of the most amazing mentors in my life, Dorothy Satin, who was the founder of the Westwood Institute of Psychodrama and Sociometry. So I want to give her that shout out because she changed my life. Dorothy would say to me, "Choose your death." And I looked at her and I'm like, what the hell does she mean by that? And she would say it over and over again. And I'll go back to the womb. What I witnessed was, in her end days, this brilliant psychologist who was so beautiful in her body and in her skin and the way she moved and the way she spoke, developed Parkinson's. It started to diminish her and her voice till the end, where the last place that she was allowed to do psychodrama was in my office, because her people turned on her and said, "We don't think she should be doing it anymore because it's difficult to understand her." How dare you say what someone's worth is based on how they execute their voice? Because you can stand in the presence of some of the people in this room and they won't even speak to you, and you will feel absolutely loved by them. How dare you? But in that moment, in that regression, going in and out, I thought, that's what Dorothy meant. I had a choice. If I stayed in too long, I could be gone. Or my mama. I remember hearing sound in the regression, and inside going, oh my God. It was so real for me. I remember the voices in the room. And in the room, while I'm practicing hypnotherapy with this poor guy who's a student, as I am, and I'm doing this. I'm like violently, he's like, he calls the teacher, he goes, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with this. I think she's stuck. I don't know how to help her out. So after so many push and pulls, do you know that went on for 23 hours with my mother? I'm telling you from my experience. I want you to imagine hers and what that must have been like for her and how powerless she was to help me. And as a mother and as a human, the worst feeling we experience is the powerlessness to help the people that we love. And yet, every single day, that's what we do. That is our work, to sit in the powerlessness, to watch our clients coming in with their foot stuck in their addiction and their mental health and their trauma, and we're trying to help birth them. We're trying to help them come out. We're trying to help them choose life. And even when they choose life, death comes for them. Because that's how powerful addiction is. And I'm in this bungee cord, barely breathing and suffocating, remembering Dorothy in my regression, remembering why I'm claustrophobic, and making a decision. And I heard them say, in my head, I don't know if this is true, my mother never verified, if she doesn't come out now, we're gonna have to cut her open. I heard it clear as day. Now, mind you, C-sections back then, not pretty, not easy, not done all the time. In my mind, I heard that, and I rushed out of the womb, but I wasn't trying to save myself. I wanted to save my mother. I felt that connection so deeply of what it was like to be attached to another human being and have them feed you with everything they have. When she had so little to give me, those moments she gave me everything. And I can't stand in this space without her. As much as we suffered together in relationship because the messages she gave me were not mine. They weren't for me. It was like she was speaking to herself my whole life, trying to find her way because she was so lost and wanting to be her, a version of her that she could understand. I scared her. I terrified her because I spoke up, because I was loud, because I wouldn't listen. We went to the airport one time, and I had on a little dress like this, and I was twirling around the airport, and I was 3. And I think I was kind of cute, I must have been. And I had these little patent shoes on and my little hat. My mom dressed me up for everything. Like I would like this, mama would respect this right here. And when I was in the airport and I was dancing around, I remember this clear as day at 3 years old. My mom grabs me and says, "Act like a lady." Act like a lady. And I'm like, "Mom, I'm gonna play now and I'm gonna be a lady tomorrow." I didn't know what a lady was, but I knew it meant stop having fun. Stop having fun, stop being loud, stop having energy, stop showing yourself, stop revealing yourself, stop existing as a woman. And then all the messages that came through my adolescence. Don't show your body, don't let anything be exposed, then you're a whore, then you're a slut. I'm like, how many negative messages are you going to download into one human being? If you express your sexuality and your sensuality, you're a whore. And show off your body, you're narcissistic or you're a slut. You can't just be present in your own skin. Men can wear a G-string or a Speedo and go on the beach and we're like, yeah, get it, boy. We don't care how old they are, right? Look at that old man. He's fine. Look at him feeling himself. Yeah, right? I did condition my husband out of wearing Speedos, though, I will tell you. I shamed him right out of it. I go, dude, we don't do that here. I don't know where you come from. I don't care what you're packing. Put that away. Do not show that off. So it was the only time I felt equally empowered to shame somebody else into covering up their business, you know? Because I always got that. I remember the first time my mom saw me in a bathing suit as an adult. I was going into legs competitions. I was such a rebel. I was like, tell me I can't show off, girl. Hey, you know. And I put on the bathing suit, and it was revealing, but the major parts are covered, right? You know, like the petals, you know, like Adam and Eve stuff, you know. And I thought, I have it now. I'm not going to have it at this age. Shoot, I'm going to show it up what I got, right? You ain't going to touch. I was all about that. I go, you look, can't touch. Ha. That was my power. My power came to withhold my sensuality and sexuality from you. I'd be all like bravado, and then I'd be like, peace out, bro. Because you were going to earn that. You were going to have to earn that respect, right? So I stand in front of my mother, kind of bare naked, and this was her reaction. And I was like, what you think? She's like, oh, it looks good. Yeah, it's pretty. Okay, I'm going to go. She couldn't look at me. I remember being in the bedroom when I'd have to change and my mother would turn around. What do you think I learned from that? What do you think that spoke to me? That subtle message. My mother didn't hit me. She didn't name call me. She didn't stick me in a closet. She wasn't an addict or an alcoholic. But what do you think that did to me? And she did it all the time. I adore her while I'm telling you this story, because she did the best she could with what she had. And what she did was she downloaded to me what her mother downloaded to her. And she never stopped to look in the mirror and go, what is wrong with that? That is okay. I don't need to define myself by your standards, what you think about me, how you want me to behave in the world, what your expectations are for me, because I'm a woman or because I'm a man. How dare you decide how we get to stand as powerful human beings on this earth in this lifetime? You have a voice and a story and a song and a dance. How dare anyone take that from you? And every time you got those messages, that's what was done. You were robbed of being your full 100% magical, amazing self. And you're still fighting that battle in your head. I speak to my parents all the time, and they're gone. I look for their validation still. Do you love me? Do you see me? Is this okay? Are you proud of me? My whole life and beyond. Because the love you feel from the womb and from creation is infinite. And it doesn't matter what parents you got. You, as the children of the womb, cannot separate your heart, your love, your soul, and your mind from those parents that birthed you. This is why you have to clear your trauma. This is why you have to go back into your story and your history. Not because we want you to stay stuck there. We want you to move beyond the shackles and the rigidity and the life sentence that those traumas have played in your life. Having a mother who taught me to be small made me be small in every relationship I had and ever had. And it hurt my heart. At 13, I was mute. This was mute. I would not speak above a whisper because I thought, what is the point? You don't want to hear my feelings and my thoughts. And I was different. So what? I didn't fit the family code of motto of ethics. So what? And they squashed me. I spent all of the decades till now, as an adult trying to break from that. What I knew was femininity was pure love. That's all I knew. I knew the power in me was, despite how you would treat me, I would continue to love you. I did not understand this. I wouldn't stay with you. I went into recovery from my codependency. I set boundaries and limits, and I walked out on your ass. However, what I felt, it's true, and it took a long time to set those boundaries. I won't stay, but I still loved you. And I'm so curious about that. And I went, oh my God, that's God. Because I didn't have a concept of a God or the divine. I had religiosity. I didn't have a concept. I didn't have a relationship. And I thought divine is that, to love you beyond reason, to love you where you don't love yourself, where you haven't loved me, where you're not even coming close to the love that I deserve and am entitled to just for breathing. That is love beyond all reason, and that is God. When you don't have a concept and you're trying to understand and you're trying to share with your clients and you're trying to connect with them, say, I don't know God, but I know love. And if you can start there and believe in love, all things will be possible for you. It makes no sense to be betrayed over and over again and to be abused and continue to love like that, because it's the only thing that heals trauma. I don't care what the bells and whistles are, CBT, DBT, EMDR, EFT, IoT, LMNOP, QRS, TUD, WX, YZ. No, girl, I don't care. As you do all the things, do it with love. As you show up for me, show up with your full heart. Don't come to me half empty and half empty promises. Come to me and walk up to me like it's our last day together and I am deciding how I will die. Not just how I will live, how I will die. And I will die as my mother died. I will die saying the last name on her breath was mine. Truly, my father was already gone, and if it wasn't, she would have been all over Muso and Pablo. I would have been like 3. She would have gone, Musa! I was the last person. I went into the front room of my mother's house, and I had been staying with her the last 2 weeks of her life. And I would sit and listen to her breathe. And that meant she was still here, but it also meant I was still here, because a part of me really felt orphaned when I lost that last parent. It was bewildering. It leveled me. So I keep going back to that womb and that connection and that essence and that love, and I keep telling myself, she gave you everything. Carry it forward. Give it to everyone. And I do. Every person that I see, even if it's for 2 minutes, I love you. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. As I sat in that front room listening for my mother and the signs that I would know that she was gone and I would have to call the peoples and do the things, I fell asleep, the deepest sleep I'd felt in years, not just in weeks, in years. And as I closed my eyes, I heard her voice so clear, so very clear. Gina, with the little cute accent that she had. My dad's was a little thick, Mama's was cute. Gina. And I remember leaping up, literally out of my chair, and running to that back room, and she was gone. She wasn't there. She didn't call my name, but I heard her. And I felt her. And I share this with you to say the love of the divine feminine mother is she would wake me up so that I wouldn't wake up 8 hours later and find her in the state that I would have found her in. It mattered to her that I not see her like that. It mattered so much. She gave me instructions. In the entire family line, we have always had open casket. My dad had an open casket, and he gave instructions. I want a tobacco in my pocket, a fifth of Jack Daniels in my right hand. I want my Indian headdress with me. I want my rain stick. My dad was like the Cuban Native American cowboy. He was very spiritually diverse. I literally was like, when I was at the mortuary, I go, hey, is anybody here Native? Because I was afraid like I would get like kicked out forever, right? Because I literally had him laid in a full headdress because that's what he wanted. And the lady goes, are you sure you want the whole bottle of Jack Daniels to go? And I go, yes. He requested it. And she looked at me like I was insane. Put it in there, lady. So my dad was pomp and circumstance. My mother said, cover the casket. I don't want anybody to see me. I don't want them to see me like that. I don't want them to know me like that. What she did was she gave me a picture. And the picture was her in her 20s looking fabulous. She had gone into a hair show in New York, and she had the big updo. She had beautiful blue eyes and fair skin, and my mother always thought she was the ugly duckling. She would tell me that over and over again. It was so hard to be beautiful in my mother's presence because she felt so ugly. And I would tell her, you're a swan, because I'm a swan. And I'm like, excuse me. Bitch, if you're ugly, that means I'm ugly, so get your shit together. I don't want to be ugly. But I loved her. And so when I heard her call me, and I remember she had this beautiful photo, and she told me, close the casket and put it on the casket. I don't want anybody to see me like that. She called me from beyond to wake me up so that I would find her in the most peaceful, beautiful, pristine state of mind to let her go. I kissed her on the cheek, which, by the way, my mother and I never did that. So for me, that was my mother, Gina the mother, giving back to the mother what she never got in her lifetime. And I'm so sad it took her a lifetime to get that. And I don't want that for any human sitting in this room. To deny yourself love or to be loved because you feel broken. You think you're less than. You're unclear and unsure of your worth. Hurts my heart when I stand in the presence of that. It truly, like TJ, it will bring me to tears because I know you better. I know your worth. I don't have to stay long in your presence to know it. As long as you're breathing, you have value and meaning and purpose, and no one takes that from you. So please breathe. Please breathe. And every time that you breathe, say, I am. I am. And I am enough. And I am is God. And I am God. Not in the narcissistic way or psychotic way. But I am God, because if I'm breathing and life comes through me and I love you, then I am divine. And isn't that what we are trying to do as we turn the tide away from the abuses of women and integrating fluidity in genders so we all understand we are the same person? We're human, for God's sakes. Not one of us should be devalued for who we are, what we look like, how we dress, who we love, where we sleep, how we express our essence. It tears me up. It is not okay to be living in a time where you tell me I don't have the right to make decisions over my own body, male or female. It's not okay. It's not okay that I live in a time that Mahsa Amini is brutally beaten because she showed her beautiful hair in public, her crown, her essence, her beauty. Because God forbid that incites a man to feel seductive and want to take her. That's why she was killed. It is not okay. If we don't start saying it's not okay, every one of us, it continues. Every time we see a woman being abused, chastised, belittled, or a man, and we say nothing, we're part of the problem, we're not the solution. I got a call 2 days ago from a dear friend who's a doctor in the field, who calls me and says, my best friend is being sexually harassed. She had a panic attack on the way to work. She's not going to be able to make it there. Can you help her? Seriously? That we can't go to work and feel safe? That we can't be in our function? That we can't just be? That someone wants to take from us or dominate us or limit us or change us in some way that doesn't feel right to our soul? No. 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 If we are emerging, and this is emergence, then change that structure within yourself. When you judge me, you are judging yourself. When you criticize, belittle, backstab, betray me, deny me, undermine me, talk shit behind my back and gossip about me, you are speaking about yourself and you're betraying yourself. And you're ending the connection that we all have as humans, because I am, as a human being, have no right to judge you for the beautiful, loving, wonderful, amazing person you are. And if I don't like it, it is my problem, not yours. Don't look at me that you're better than me and you know more and you have more. Because if I don't continue to learn every day I'm present on this earth, I'm dead. I have forgotten why I'm here and what I'm supposed to be doing. And in this industry, to sit in a room and to hear how a beautiful, loving, wonderful, amazing young woman who's coming up in the industry left a meeting feeling ashamed because she was shamed and humiliated. Because other women had to talk about what wasn't okay of how they were dressed and how they showed up to a meeting. Who are you to tell me, as another woman, to say, it's not okay. It's not okay to show up to a pool party in a bathing suit. Oh, I don't know, I'm going to wear a burqa next time. True. Don't dare. If you see a beautiful woman being beautiful, celebrate her. You know what I said? I go, sister, if I had your body shit, I'd wear that bathing suit all day long. I'll just walk around to meetings and go, hey, what you got? We don't tell men your pants are too tight, they're too high, they're too low, they're too short, they're too narrow. No. Don't wear that jacket, don't wear that suit, don't wear that tie, don't wear that shirt. Take off those sleeves, those socks suck. Your shoes are fabulous. We don't. We don't. So woman to woman, seriously, celebrate me. Because if you don't, guess who you're giving permission to put me down and continue to keep me shackled? Every man in existence. You are just feeding the narrative. You are bigger, better, more beautiful than that. If you're hurt and wounded, process your trauma. Stop bleeding your trauma onto me and using it as excuse to misbehave because you're afraid to go to therapy. How many people are afraid to go to therapy? Don't raise your hand because I'm going to call you out. I used to train my interns and go, if you're not willing to go, you're not okay, and you can't work here. If you can't disrobe yourself, how can you sit in the presence of someone else who is disrobing in front of you their soul, their essence, everything about them that they've ever felt or experienced, to show you their vulnerability? Physician, heal thyself. Therapist, heal thyself. Marketer, heal thyself. Admissions director, heal thyself. Heal thyself. The story begins with you, and you cannot heal others until you truly, truly embrace healing yourself and loving yourself. It is the longest journey you'll ever take. It is the most magnificent one. Every suffering, every heartache, every injury was trying to elevate you and wake you up. It wasn't there to train you into being a victim. It wasn't there to keep you locked and shackled, and you may feel that way. You may feel that injustice over and over again of being victimized. But that victimization and that trauma came to say, you are greater, more magnificent, more powerful than this very moment. Rise. Rise, emerge, rise. Healing is a love story. Falling in love with yourself is the answer to healing the divine, feminine, masculine, human experience. So I'm inviting you to rise, to heal, to be the better, best, amazing version of yourself, and don't accept less. Don't accept less than your infinite possibilities. Right, TJ? Because you don't deserve anything less than that, and neither do I. And I think I'm done. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so very much. I'll take my heels with me now. I'm still not going to wear them, though. You want? They're actually